It's great to be back out on the road. We started off in New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and then USA, South America, and we're finishing off in Europe. The new stuff's going down great. It was we purposely recorded it the way we did the first 3 albums, which was forgot about all the modern technology like that we did in the old days, so everything was recorded live in the studio, and that was like surprised everybody because we hadn't actually just sat down and come up with something off the top of our heads since we did the song Paranoid back in 1970.
So the biggest challenge of being bass tech for Geezer is, one, having good gear. You want to have good gear that you can trust and rely on and know that it's going to work when you go, because we go from city to city, you know, and sometimes you don't have time to work on it. You get in, you got to get it up, and you got to get going. So yeah, so having good gear and things that are reliable and you know are reliable because you've used them on the road before is a big comfort. I remember Geezer telling me a story in his late 70s, early 80s guitars, which BC Rich's then had EMGs.
In the 70s, I had BC Rich bass. Bernie Rico actually made this custom bass for me, and it had the active EMGs in it, and I absolutely loved the sound. I did Heaven and Hell album and the Mob Rules album when Ronnie James Dio was singing with us. My bass tech, Terry Welter, suggested a couple of years ago that EMG make some really great bass pickups.
So I called Rob Turner and Chris Johnson about possibly making a pickup for Geezer for this, you know, the 13 tour. So then I installed it in the White Lakeland that Geezer plays live. And I didn't tell him until after the first show that he used it.
I played that in one song for the first time, and the front of house guy said that bass sounded absolutely great, and it sounded great to me as well. It was like ultra loud.
I remember when he come off stage, he goes, "Well, the white bass is louder than all the rest." And I said, "Well, it's a different pickup." And he asked me what it was, and I told him, and he goes, "Well, it sounded good." The front of house guy for Sabbath also commented that was the better sounding guitar of the bunch. So led me to call Chris and Rob back and order some more. I was talking to Geezer one night, and he was telling me that he's never had a signature guitar. I took that and I called John at Lakeland and said, "You know, here's something funny, is Geezer's never had a signature bass guitar." And he goes, "Well, we should probably work on that." And I said, "That's exactly what I was thinking." So I ran it past Geezer, and he's like, "Well, yeah, let's, you know, get a design and a mock-up and we can work on it."
Well, I've been playing Lakeland basses for probably 15 years now. I really like the feel of them. They're really incredibly well made. I just approached them about doing a signature bass.
And Geezer sent me some pictures of his favorite guitars from the 70s and 80s. You know, like the one guitar he likes that had the stripes.
I've been working on the design. The striped pickguard is from a design that I had in the 1970s on one of my first custom basses that I had made in England.
So it's anodized aluminum and has the black stripes.
Same with the crosshair.
What we like about this guitar, it resembles a P bass, so we kind of wanted to keep that in there too, because he's used to the feel of the body and the cut of the wood.
I love the DR strings because I think every bass player that plays with the fingers will tell you that you can get very bad blistering, and the way these the DR strings are designed, they've got this wicking thing built into them, and it sort of wicks the sweat from your finger and you don't get blisters. Because when you're rehearsing, you don't play as hard because there's no audience to play to, so you just like, you can go for 2 weeks rehearsing, your fingers will be all right. But then as soon as you get out on stage and you're playing to a live audience, you're playing that much harder. I used to find I was getting blisters on my fingers, but the DR strings, I don't get blisters with them anymore. And then the last thing was I needed some really good pickups. The reason why I chose EMG for the signature pickup, I wanted the classic Fender P bass sound I used to get in the late 60s, early 70s. Nobody seems to be able to get anymore, so once I tried the EMG, I really like that kind of sound. It got the old Fender sound, but without all the problems that I used to have with the Fender stuff. After a couple of different versions of the EMGs that I loved, the next step was to do a Geezer Butler signature pickup. It's going to be great.
So the way the Harkey rigs came about was Geezer was playing the Dimebag Bash in California and called me and said that there was going to be a Harkey Kilo on stage.
I actually did a gig in California. Different bass players are getting up and jamming, and Harkey was sponsoring the amps and everything for the show. They supplied all the amps, and I'd never used Harkey before. I had a quick fiddle with them. I've got this great sound. And the thing that I really love about it, it's got the overdrive.
And these amps have a lot of power. They have a lot of output. Currently on tour, we use 4 Kilo 1000s live.
And plus, they made me these incredible cabinets, all custom built for this new tour that we're on. This is my signature bass, signature pickups.
So this is it. This is the gear. This is the signature Lakeland guitar, the signature EMG pickups, DR strings.
So you have to have something reliable more than anything. That's the most important thing. And so here they are.